मीनाक्षी सुंदरम जी.
I am grateful to Chandrasekhar Pranji for giving me an opportunity to look at what happened 30 years ago. Exactly on this day, 30 years ago, I was sitting in the official gallery of the Lok Sabha, listening to all the speeches made on the Constitution Amendment, and then briefing the Prime Minister on the reply which he has to make. Now, there are two things which the then Prime Minister said, which I thought I will recollect once again. He was telling us, we are talking about decentralization, which means what works in Kashmir will not work in Kanyakumari, what works in Kutch will not work in Khasi Hills. We have to think of different states, and what is good for a state, the state should decide. Now, my first point is, we should not get worried that in some parts of the country, Panchayat Raj is doing very well. In some other parts, it is not doing very well. It is all right. India is a large country. At some point of time, some states will do very well. Some states will not do very well. We should not lose heart. We should not feel bad. Now, currently, in the south, in the east, in the west, the decentralization program is going very strong. In some parts of central India, it may not be all that good, but still, we have to continue, we have to fight, we have to make the people realize decentralization is the best solution for them. That is the first point I want to make. Please do not lose heart, and a day will come where decentralization will become a reality throughout the country. The second point, which Narasimha Rao said, was the Constitution amendment which we had brought in is not the best amendment. You may please remember, at the time when the Constitution amendment came, there was no majority government. The government was in a minority. It has got to carry all the political parties together to get what is possible as the Constitution amendment. I fully agree with Sarath Chandra Biharji. There are certain points which we wanted to add, like Gram Sabha, giving importance to Gram Sabha, giving the linkages between different panchayats, and we also wanted to have a panchayat list. But all this could not be done purely because it was very difficult for us to get all these things through all the political parties whom we have to get their support. Now, here, this is the time where perhaps we can think of getting the amendments through, provided the government of the day is willing to do that. Now, one point which I want to mention. See, we run a federal government. Federal government means there is a central government, there is a state government, there is a local government. I agree, local government should be the first government, not the third government, but it should be the first tier. I am in agreement with you on that. Now, the point is, of these three, there is something very special in the Constitution. We have a central list, we have a state list. Now, in the state list, local government is a subject under the state list. Strictly speaking, in a federal system, we should have three separate tiers. The concept of having local government in the state list is itself wrong. But unfortunately, when we wrote the Constitution in 1950, there was no talk of panchayats. We did not bring panchayats into the Constitution. Therefore, the local government came in as a part of the state. So in the state list, we have put the local government. What we need to do now is to get the local governments out of the state list, and it should become an independent thing by itself. The Constitution should have three tiers: center, state, and the local government. There will be a central list, there will be a state list, there will be a panchayat list or the local government list, which will say what are the powers of the local government, what are the subjects which they must handle. This is what perhaps, to answer the point made by Chandrasekhar Pran in the beginning, what amendment we need to do for the Constitution still further. I will say the best amendment will be to treat the local governments on par with the state and the center, instead of saying the local government is a subject under the state list. So this is the first thing which we need to do. And the Nyaya Panchayat also, we attempted to start with in Karnataka, which we could not do it also even now. It is true that among the 3 tiers, we should also think of decentralization in the judiciary, which means Nyaya Panchayat. Now, I have a couple of things to mention. One is, we would like the Gram Panchayats to be organs of governance and not of development. If you want the Gram Panchayat to be a local self-government, we should give them some regulatory powers also. Why should a person go to a Panchayat? If he has got something to get from the Panchayat, he will go there. Now, why not we give the basic minimum things like giving a birth certificate, death certificate, marriage certificate, caste certificate, all these small things, why we cannot empower the Panchayat themselves to do it? So that people will go to the Panchayat, they will talk to their Pradhan, they will get something done from them. We need to do the basic minimum things to be delivered by the Panchayat so that people will go to the Panchayat. Now in Kerala, I find this happening. The other states also should ensure that Panchayat becomes a regular part of the governance. Now, one other thing which I want to mention is the Gram Sabha. It is true that we could not give great importance to Gram Sabha in the Constitution Amendment. It is time that we give it now. We have to see that the Gram Sabhas meet. That provides a forum for social audit. It provides a forum for transparency, accountability of the local Panchayat persons. I think we need to concentrate on that. Now, one other thing which I want to mention is the social justice part. In the Constitution Amendment, the Panchayat is expected to plan and implement programs for economic development and social justice. Unfortunately, we have not done much in social justice. That is the area where we should concentrate now. Particularly the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, other backward castes, and also the gender. We need to see that something is done through the Panchayats. Otherwise, the purpose of creating the Panchayats may not be served. The last point I want to mention is how to get this done. See, one is we need to have civil society organizations talking about this. We need to get the bureaucracy as well as the politicians into this. We need to tell them that by having the Panchayats, you are not losing your power. You are only getting one more organ to get your job done. So somehow we have to get this into the minds of the politicians to a large extent and to the bureaucracy. That is where the civil society organizations and people like the Tisri Sarkar Abhiyan should concentrate on. And probably planning will be the best way to get into this system. We must start with plans below the Gram Panchayat, then the Gram Panchayat plan. Development should be in the hands of the people. They will plan for the development and unpaid funds must be made available to them. All this can be done without bringing any further amendment. If the state government so chooses as of today, we can do it. But the best solution will be to make the local government as good as the state and the center by taking it out of the state list. That's what I wanted to say. Thank you very much. I hope whatever I told, Mr. Pran will be able to translate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sir.